Warren is the one who got us writing annual letters.
Warren has set a great example with the annual letter that he does every year for Berkshire Hathaway.
And this year, Warren sent us a note saying maybe we should reflect on the entire 10 years since Warren made this unbelievably generous gift. Every $30 billion gift deserves at least some type of write-up.
We wrote it to him with him specifically in mind.
Although I hope a lot of people will be interested. It's really quite fantastic how health continues to improve, and a lot of people aren't aware of that.
All you have to do is look at the fact that 122 million children are alive since 1990, who otherwise wouldn't be, just because of the miracle of vaccines.
It's not as visible to people as it should be.
In family planning around the world, 300 million women now use modern contraceptives. First time ever in the history of the world.
The whole picture about why children die has been a huge focus of the foundation, because over 1 million children die on the day of their birth.
Those were 1 million lives that we could have saved, those tiny babies who could grow up to be amazing teenagers and adults.
And we're committed to get that number down dramatically.
45% of child deaths are linked to malnutrition. That's unbelievable, and that's something we can fix, and we should just do it.
There's wonderful tools of science. Every month we're learning more, and so we are going to make the human condition far, far better.
Hi, this is Melinda Gates. It's amazing what a contraceptive can do. When a woman has the power to decide when to get pregnant, she has power over her future. She can protect her own health because she can wait to have a child until her body is ready for it. And she can protect her child's health because she can space her pregnancies so that her body recovers each time. And when a woman can plan her family, she can plan to invest more in each child, to pay for doctor's visits and medicine and nutritious food. Children who are well nourished and healthy do much better in school, and children who do better in school go on to earn a better living. As a result, they have more to invest in their children and their community. It seems like a simple thing, a pill or a shot or an implant or a condom, but it triggers a virtuous cycle that makes everybody's life better. That's because empowered women transform societies.
The annual letter that Melinda and I wrote this year is to Warren Buffett, and we're explaining to him how we measure our progress. Back in 1990, over 12 million children under the age of 5 died, and today we've cut that in half, so we're below 6 million. Of these deaths, nearly half are taking place in the first month. Most of these first month deaths are taking place in poor countries. My friends at Gapminder show us the picture here. We've got the income per person per year on the x-axis, and we've got the number of kids per 1,000 births who die in that first month shown on the y-axis. And you can see that the countries that are wealthy, over 10,000 of income per person, they're doing quite well. There's a very strong relationship here between the income level and child deaths. And so that raises the question, are there best practices that may show us what we should be doing in all of these poor countries even before they develop economically? We see that in fact, there are positive outliers, countries who, at a very low level of wealth, achieve incredible improvements. Rwanda's a fantastic example of this. We can see that their death rate is just about half of Mali, who's the same level of wealth. So clearly, Rwanda's doing some things right. Rwanda has community groups, including people who volunteer to help out with health. And so they know when people are sick, they know when women are pregnant, they get the right information to them. They have a great primary health care system with workers who are trained. They make sure that the drugs and vaccines are there, and it's measured to make sure that if anything's falling down, they find it and they drive the quality. And finally, both with donor money and getting citizens to contribute to an overall fund, if you look at their government budget, Rwanda is making this a priority and they are seeing incredible benefits from it. And so we have the potential, by taking those best practices, spread them to other countries to perform a miracle and literally save millions of more lives.
When I got into this contraceptives work, it definitely wasn't something I had planned to do. When I'd be out talking to women in the developing world, and I'd be there to talk about vaccines, but they would bring it up and they'd say to me, "Don't you see, if I could choose when I have my next child, it would be more fair to these children." We take it so for granted in the United States. We use these contraceptives, and it's what has allowed me to plan the number of children I would like to have and to work. And yet, we're not allowing these women to have them simply because we've become afraid. We've become afraid as a world of talking about what we need. We can't take our fear and then not serve women what they actually need and want, and to keep themselves and their children alive. That just doesn't make sense. This is Sadie Sine, and I met her in Niger, and I was talking with her about contraceptives. She finally said to me, "Why do I have to walk, almost 10 miles, for her it was kilometers, but 10 miles to get my contraceptive tool, and then sometimes it's not there?" Sadie's one of the people I carry in my heart because that question of why not? So this is Mary, who I met in Korogocha slum with her 3 children, and she'd started this backpack business. What she said to me is, life is hard here, yet when I can do this, when I can, make these backpacks and sell them, things get better for me and my kids. Her ability to use contraceptives means that if she doesn't choose to have any more children, which she was seriously contemplating not, she can sew and do what she wants, and she and her kids can go to market, and she can sell more backpacks, which means more economic opportunity for her. Margaret Balachi said something to me that I'd never even thought of. She said, you all call this family planning. And she said, yes, we're planning our families, but it's really about planning our futures. That if we can plan our futures, we can plan for them and know when we will have children, then we can make decisions about our lives. And I thought, wow, she really nailed it.
Melinda and I do an annual letter for the foundation, and this year we took a question that Warren asked us about the progress in the 10 years since he made his amazing gift.
So I asked Bill and Melinda to write a letter. I just asked them to think back over the 10 years, what worked out better than expected, what problems did they encounter. I find it very useful.
One thing Warren's very generous about is that he wants us to take risk. And so he's not saying, you had to meet some certain outcome or I'll be super disappointed. However, for us, the fact that we're giving away his money, it actually makes Melinda and I work harder and really want to have Warren be very, very proud of what we're able to achieve because of his unbelievable generosity.
When I made the gift, I subscribed to the idea that all lives are of equal value, what they believe, and it's consistent with what I believe, and fortunately, we've got a fair number of resources to work with there.
And so our ambition, whether it's in health, whether it's in agriculture, sanitation, in U.S. education, we were allowed to dream even bigger. And so over the last 10 years, we've seen some phenomenal results. We're close on polio. We had less than 50 cases last year, and we're hoping this year will be the last year that any kid gets polio. The idea there's 122 million children alive, that if the death rate had stayed the same, those kids would not be alive.
You can detect when people are thinking clearly, when they have a passion for what they do. Words really do come through.
The letter's at www.gatesletter.com. A lot of good news and a lot of things we still have to work on, so I hope you'll take a look.